What is up, everybody? Welcome to the first edition of Chillin at the Spot, where the hip hop does not stop. The 49er Minded YouTube channel. I have my co-host with me, No Crypto Ryan, and we're gonna bring on a guy who wanted to collab with us. And I said, hey, come on right along, man. You're welcome to the party. So without further ado, it is Super Dave, the OG from Real Talk Niner Talk. We're all 49er fans, but hey, all hip hop fans are welcome. How's it going, bro?
Chillin.
That's what we do at the spot, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
sir.
whoa. That's what we do at the spot.
So you know what? Last time we started the show over on the No Border Sports channel, and I put the link in the description box for the No Border Sports channel because that's where Ryan does his show with Waruna, and we did the introductory episode there, and we're going to be alternating between channels. So go ahead and subscribe to that channel. And on the initial show, I was on there, and in the beginning of the show, Ryan talked about his the way he was introduced to hip hop growing up. And I talked about my experiences, my music experiences growing up, and how I eventually channeled into hip hop. And I want to hear from Dave, man, from Super Dave. I'm like, tell us about your experiences growing up, listening to music, and when hip hop came to the fold.
Yeah, well, I started out in the Bay Area before KMEL was a thing. KMEL was a rock station. But
Oh,
in the
wow.
Bay Area,
I remember that.
The camel actually jumping over the bridge. But I consider myself a 70s kid. We listened to everything. We listened to R&B, rock, pop, blues, anything with a pulse. And I began playing instruments when I was 9 years old. I went from trumpet to trombone, played all the brass instruments, a little woodwind. My first real experience with hip hop, I actually remember Too Short selling his tapes out of Oakland and coming further south to like Fremont and Newark, selling tapes out of his car. So I've been listening to him since 13, 14 years old. I remember when E40 got started, and then I ended up moving to Southern California. And then the day before I started college, there was a concert here where Public Enemy was headlining. They also had Kid and Play, Digital Underground, Queen Latifah, the Afros. That was the one Heavy D was supposed to be on. And Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane invited everybody from the show to hang out at the Travel Lodge. I got to meet Tupac. That was the only time I ever met Tupac. And a couple of roadies from Queen Latifah, who ended up being Naughty by Nature, were there. It was a hell of an experience. And
Legends.
the next day I started at San Diego State. So I've been a fan ever since.
Man, what an introduction.
That is quite the story, man. I was just like, and I'll tell you this, man, because we both started we were talking on the original channel, on the No Border Sports channel on the first episode about our experiences, with hip hop. And I was saying that I had, like, when I was like 6 years old or 5 years old, I remember my parents bought me this small like organ that was like called the chord organ, where it's like a fan and it sounds like an accordion. It sounds just like an accordion. You plug it in, one sound, that's it. And that was my introduction to music, period. And, of course, later after listening to 80s pop, then hip hop became, popular. And then Ryan said the same thing, where he had that instrument too, but you're playing all the brass instruments and you're just like an accomplished musician there, man.
I did play the clarinet.
There you go.
It's a reed instrument.
Where I was, if you weren't in choir, you were in a band, you had an instrument. That's when music in the schools was a really big thing. Where I was in San Jose, the Alum Rock School District, we always had this music festival, and they would deck out the Civic Center. There'd be 5,000 people there, and it would be played for over 2 nights so that all the schools could get covered. It was a big thing. Oh, a little side note about that story from that concert. When Big Daddy Kane came out on the Travel Lodge, he came with this girl that I knew from high school, and she was like 15 years old. And so he went to the crowd and said, "This is an old friend." And then somebody yelled out, "She's a little young to be your old friend." And that person ended up being my best friend in college. So 30 years later.
That's hilarious. You're filled with stories, man. You're the right person to have on the show, man. That is crazy. Is there anything else that you want to talk about in terms of growing up and being a rap fan before we get started with the first song we're gonna play?
Who were your first influences?
Oh gosh. Well, I knew Rapper's Delight. Curtis Blow was probably the first influence. He was really big. And then let's see. Gosh, it was mostly East Coast until I got to the Bay Area, where I started to see Too Short. And then a year later, you saw Ice-T's influence in LA, and then NWA and JJ Fad came. But that's the thing with the Bay Area. We're West Coast, but our lifestyles are more East Coast than it is West Coast because of the climate. So we had a different style of music from Southern California, where it could be easily accepted. And then when KMEL turned into a hip hop station, I remember when Sway was starting over at Stanford University with Kevy Kev before he came over to the big stations and got big with, the Wake Up Show and then his morning drive there. So it goes pretty far back, but music is just around us everywhere. I listen to everything short of polka because hip hop can take any type of music and turn it into a hit. It's been proven time and time again. That's why I don't see it dying ever.
All right, let me say what's up to a lot of people in the chat because they're showing a lot of love, and I feel like I'm letting them down. So let's just get this part out of the way really quick. We got Mariah from 49er Faithful League podcast. She's over there with TL.
Oh, yes.
And they have a really nice podcast, and then they chop it up about the Niners like we all do because we all love the Niners. And what's up, 49ers Chanel? Appreciate you being here. We're doing a hip hop show today. Kenny, big hip hop guy, big 49er fan. He's gonna be on the show eventually. He might hop on tonight if he has a chance. We got Dion from Diner Gang podcast says what's good.
What's good,
Days
Dion?
Bashar. How you doing, Dion? If you ever want to be on the show, you're more than welcome, man. We're trying to get a whole bunch of different people on here with different perspectives. And if I missed anybody, I don't think I did. Okay, pretty much got everybody covered. Cool. Yeah, man. He's made a Curtis Blow reference. He said Curtis Blow was also my introduction to hip hop. I like that.
Which I kind of did some research, a little more in-depth research on Curtis Blow for today's segment. So it was wonderful that you brought him up because, thought it'd be interesting.
We're going to talk about him later. So you guys ready to jump into the first song?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first song, I took note with Crypto Ryan on the first show we were talking about because this guy was throwing some stuff at me. He was throwing some crazy curveballs at me as if he was some pitcher from the 1980s. And I was like, whoa. I thought I knew about hip hop. He's like, yeah, man, check out that Netflix documentary. And I've watched plenty of hip hop documentaries, but Netflix has a really good documentary, Hip Hop Evolution, I believe it's called. And I actually been cramming the past few days and trying to see what can I pick up and gather from this that I did not already know yet. I don't think, I do my 49ers podcast. I don't know everything about football, so I'm always striving to learn new things. Same with music. And lo and behold, they were talking about like, where did certain rappers get their influences from? Where do they get their styles from? Where do they get their cadences from? Hip hop, a lot of hip hop is about cadence, you get the call and response thing too. And it's, it's wonderful. And when you'll be surprised, there's music from like sometimes the 1960s or 1950s that almost have a somewhat of a hip hop flow to them. So actually, I was going to play something by an artist called Pigmeat Markham. I'll do that after this one. I want to do this other one first, though. It's a song called "The Preacher and the Bear." I don't know if you guys have heard of it. So I'm going to play the Preacher and the Bear first. And they mentioned this group on that documentary that I was watching, the Hip Hop Evolution, but they didn't mention this particular song. And I knew about this song already just from my days of falling through the rabbit hole on YouTube. So I knew about this song and knew about this group before I saw the Netflix documentary. But the Netflix documentary inspired me, and that helped remind me of who these guys are and what they're all about. So I got the video queued up. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and kick us off to the side of the screen. You can still see us, but this is gonna be a live reaction. If I don't know if you guys have seen the song or not, but feel free to, while the song's going, if you guys want to react live, or we could pause and talk about the music from time to time. And I'm gonna go ahead and share this. This is like the reason. That's why I called this the title of the show today, "Chillin at the Spot: The Origins of Hip Hop." Because you'll be surprised, man, if you dig deep enough. You'll find out a lot of things about hip hop or the music you love in general, things that you never knew before. And so I'm going to go ahead and share the tab right now. I have the volume slider all the way, and I'm going to maximize the screen. Hang on, let me see when I do that. And I'm going to play it for a second. If the audio is too loud, just let me know, because this is kind of like a trial and error thing for you guys too. So I'm going to play it, and if it's too loud, just let me know.
That the only time we really live, John and brother, that the only time we really live. Why don't you give me that the only time we really live, John and brother, it's a good enough for me. My Lord, that the only time we really live, John and brother, that's the only time we really live. Why don't you give me that the only time we really live, John and brother, it's a good enough for me. Yes, just come on, brothers, if you want to hear a story about that preacher and the bear. Gather round, boys, I don't want you to miss none of this here story, cause it goes like this. A preacher, he went out to hunting. It was on one Sunday morning. Though he was one Christian young man, but he took his gun along. Well, the first thing he shot was a bunch of fine quails, and he shot him a nice fat hare. Then through the woods on his way back home, he met a great big grizzly bear. Then the Reverend fell down upon his knees. He sent up a great long prayer. Whilst he cast one eye to the heaven on high, but kept the other eye on the bear. He said, the Lord delivered Daniel from the lion den, Jonah from the belly of the whale. The three Hebrew boys from the fiery furnace said a good book do declare. Now look here, Lord, if you don't help me,
saw somebody
don't you go to helping that bear. He
put
needed that
some drums and some snares to this.
He needed that.
Actually, are you talking about the version where they put the beat for they put that Good Times hip hop beat, the Sugar Hill Gang beat to it?
No.
Okay.
I saw some guy himself. He just put, it was like, it sounded like real ghetto stuff. You know what I mean? Like production value was, very, very small. And but no, he put it on there and you were like, oh crap. You know what I mean? Yeah.
He did his own remix. I want to check it out.
When I heard this guy go off, he did remind me a lot of Wonder Mike, just his style and his cadence. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back to it. Go right ahead.
The only time we really live, John and brother, it's a good enough for me. My Lord, that the only time we really live, John and brother, that the only time we really live. Why don't you give me that the only time we really live, John and brother, it's a good enough for me. Yes, then the bear walked out in the middle of the road. Up to the Reverend walks he. That Reverend laid his religion down. He climbed up a tall pine tree. Yes, he climbed way up to the top of that tree and climbed out on a limb. Whilst the bear sits down so endlessly and licked his mouth at him. Around about 3 o'clock, the old limb broke. Reverend came tumbling down. Boy, he grabbed his knife, he cut the bear 10 times before he struck the ground. He needed some only time we really live, John. He needed some only time we really live. He needed some only time we really live, John. Brother, it's good enough for me. My Lord, that's the only time we really live, John. Brother, that's the only time we really live. Why don't you give me that the only time we really live, John? Brother, it's good enough for me. Yes, then the bear reached out to give the Reverend a hug like you would hug a long-lost friend. But old Reverend put on that disappearing act. He went splitting through the wind. Old Reverend went to running like an old hound dog, trying to overtake a hare. He went home, went to bed, and took 6 naps. Before his shadow got there, he had that only time we really lived, Johnny had that only time we really lived. He had that only time we really lived, Johnny, brother, it's good enough for me. My Lord, that only time we really lived, Johnny, brother, that only time we really lived. Why don't you give me that only time we really lived, Johnny, brother, it's good enough for me. See, brother, the preacher made a touchdown.
Okay, that's let me tell you the name of the group, by the way. I forgot to do that. It's the Jubilaries, if I'm saying that right. And they were a gospel type group. They're a quartet gospel group based out of Florida. So if you ever listen to their lyrics closely, on this song and some of their other songs, you hear a lot of biblical type references too. So it's pretty cool how that all started.
Well, it seemed like there was a lot of artists back then that did that, like Sam Cooke.
Yes.
Sam Cooke was a part of, I can't remember what kind of secular music group it was. It was was like a group that the members got old, the members swapped out, but the group stayed the same. And he essentially took their songs or their beats and whatnot, and then switched up the songs and created instant hits overnight. You know what I mean? So that was a thing that
that was a common thing with most artists. And that's why they were also shunned once they did that. They couldn't come back to the secular side. That's still frowned upon today.
There's an awesome documentary on Netflix called The Two Killings of Sam Cooke. It talks about not only how, such a beautiful singer was, light was snuffed out, but also a civil rights figure, and a strong one too, who used his music to change. Like, my mom listened to a lot of Sam Cooke when we would drive up and down California doing Civil War reenacting and stuff like that. And I never knew the gravity of those songs until I watched that documentary, and I realized, holy smoke, these songs that I was always, singing in the car with my mom when we were traveling for hours were things that were kind of, like those little building blocks that she was, leaving me with to, remind me that we're all the same. You know what I mean? We're just, you know what I mean? We all have our common bonds and all this and that, no matter where we come from or anything, that we're all the same and we're all special. You know what I mean? And it's one thing I thought was always amazing. And I always liked Sam Cooke, but
yeah, I got to hear a lot of that from my grandparents for that exact same reason, just to keep that going.
I was gonna say, if there is a Sam Cooke type song with a bit of a rap flow to it, you guys are more than welcome to play it tonight. If you guys want to do that, share your screen.
He had more pop. He was more poppy stuff. He was really good at making those bangers. You know what I mean? That were just coming off, and everybody had to play them. And that's one of the reasons why he put such he had such an underlying note of civil rights in there, because he knew he could reach a lot of ears with it. You know what I mean? And slowly, get people thinking about it in the back of their mind without even them noticing it. You know what I mean? Because you're just singing these words because they're, sound great together, and, he harmonizes the words well, and the song sounds beautiful. But when you actually start to think about it, you're humming.
That's where you get to.
Yeah.
Okay. So really quick, I'll let you guys carry on with what you're saying, but I'm really excited because this guy, I didn't even know this guy was willing to jump out. I didn't even know saw my tweets about the show, but a good buddy of mine that I met at one of the 49er preseason games, his name's Dion. He hosts the Niner Gang podcast.
Oh,
what's up, Dion? How you doing, man?
My life.
Hey, what's good, man?
Welcome to Chillin on the Spot.
What's good? No crypto. Nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you too, sir.
Crypto Ryan right there, Dion.
Yeah.
And since we did this, I'm gonna play a song pretty soon. But before I do that, I want you to talk about your musical journey growing up, and how you got in touch with hip hop.
Man, hip hop for me, man. I'm an '80s baby, so I'm born in '81, man. So, everything started for me. Honestly, it was my pops. Like since I was a kid, every time he would pick me up, his music was always blasting. It didn't matter what he was driving, he had to have beat in that car. If he didn't have a sound system in the whip, he wasn't driving it. So, my eardrums would get blown out from a baby. So loud music is nothing to me. And, he would start with, Parliament and Funkadelic.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And I would hear that. And then, as I got older, I would hear all the stuff, but I would hear stuff on like radio hits. I wouldn't hear anything, on tape, because my mom, she wasn't allowing that. Like my pops, he listened to just about anything. His favorite rapper is Too Short. So you can imagine, a little kid in the back of the car just bobbing his head to Too Short, but not understanding exactly what's being said, but just knowing the beat is hard and knowing the hook is catchy and working with it, that's kind of where my journey in hip hop started. It was just listening to the sounds. And then, I didn't start understanding music really until I turned about 14, 15. And I have to credit my mom for that, because I was listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony when I was a teenager. That was my group. Like you couldn't tell me nothing. Bone Thugs was raw. That was the group, man. And I remember I was listening to East 1999 Eternal, and I was just singing the song, and Crazy Bone said something about guerrilla warfare, and my mom was like, "Do you even know what that is?" And I was like, "I mean, nah, like I'm just singing the song." She's like, "You need to be mindful of what you sing. You need to understand the song, understand the lyrics." And at that time, that's when I started getting into the lyrics of the music I was listening to and starting to understand things more for what they really were and starting to pay attention to what people really said. And it helped me to go back into a lot of the music I listened to and find the real messages. So it's crazy just to see that, man. Like Too Short was giving you game on the ghetto. Like, people look at that song and they're like, "Oh, he's just talking about his neighborhood." It's like, nah, man, he giving you game. I mean, like, look at the line. Even when people give you no respect, be intelligent when you put them in check, because when you're ignorant, you get treated that way. And when they throw you in jail, you got nothing to say.
Right.
It trickles down into hip hop. Nipsey Hussle even said it when he was just talking on the end of a track. When he was talking on, I think it's called Higher. It's him, John Legend, and DJ Khaled.
Oh, yeah, one of the last songs they played.
One of the last songs he recorded. And it wasn't Higher, it was another song, my bad. But he basically was saying, I think in hip-hop, the way we react to things, we need to, like, work on that. We need to modify it. We need to get better because we've been portrayed as such an aggressive genre of music that people are missing the messages that we're giving, and for me growing up, I was always looking for a rapper that really came from Los Angeles, like came from where I came from, because we had the guys from Compton, we had Snoop from Long Beach, we had all these people from the outskirts and from different little cities because LA County is massive, but we didn't have a real dude from LA. So when Nip came out, for me, I was like, "Oh, he really from Crenshaw. Like, that's really okay. That's really where he's at." And it made me respect him even more, So everybody, wherever they grow up, you got local rappers that you know about that other people don't know about. So when you go places and you talk about these people, they're like, "Who?" Like I remember when I first moved to Arizona. And I mentioned Sugar Free. People were looking at me like, "Huh? Who is that?" And I'm like, "Bro, I ain't talking about like Splenda or nothing like that, bro. I'm talking about a real rapper talking about some crazy pimp shit that will have you it will blow your mind if you pay." And it's the beauty of rap is there's so much reality that's in there. You just have to be smart enough to pick it out. I mean, I even dropped a line on I went and saw my sister today. I even dropped a line on her because she likes Jay-Z. She just started understanding rap for the bars and whatnot, and he was on a song with DMX and Nas called Bath Salts.
Yes.
And that's on Exodus. That song goes ridiculously hard. If you have not listened to DMX's last album, Exodus, you're missing out. The album is fantastic.
It is.
And he said, "All I want is heaven. I don't want the hassle. God bless a child that can hold his own." Shoot. Like that right there, just that bar right
over
there
a lot of heads.
Flew right over people's heads. And people was like, and my sister looked at me and she was like, "I need you to break that down." And I was like, "I'm going to break it down real simple for you." He's saying, "I don't want to go to your church. I don't want to praise your Jesus. I don't want to do any of that. I just need heaven here on earth. And I don't want all the hassle. I don't need to go through and beg. I don't want to do all that." And I said, the Hatchu is bless you, as in blessings. I want those blessings to be received. And she was like, I was like, "Man, I'm telling you, That's why you pay attention to the bars, because it will take you through the story that's trying to be told. Like, my favorite rapper is DMX. Love X. And I listened to him from the start to the finish. I read his book. Anything about DMX I can tell you, because I identified with him in a different way. And people look at me like, yo, you from the West. Like, how is your favorite rapper East Coast rapper? That don't matter. You identify who you identify with. It is what it is. But that's kind of how my journey started in hip hop, man. Just being a kid, having my eardrums blown out in the car and just vibing out to the music. And then, later on in life, starting to understand it. And it helped me to appreciate rap more because of the stories that were being told. And then I started getting into guys that were seriously lyrical. Like, I can't listen to a lot of today's stuff because these cats aren't lyrical. So I don't like to sound like the old fogey, that doesn't like the new stuff. But it's
that's how I sound.
Y'all don't have no bars.
I'm starting to change my opinion a little bit about that. There are one or two of these new cats that actually have bars. If you listen, we get caught up in the cadence and everybody sounding the same. But when you go back to the golden age, that's exactly what the 80s rappers were saying about that time. It's going to evolve. It's going to get better.
It usually comes full circle because
it does.
I'll give you a prime example. The Migos to me don't really have bars like that. But I like the Migos. You know why? That's my happy music. When I want to just have a good time, I listen to the Migos. Why? Because they should it's just cool.
I'm a sucker for a catchy flow, a catchy hook, and a catchy beat.
Their song literally was compared to Dr. Seuss. They have a song called Walk It Like I Talk It.
Yes.
The video, they mimic Soul Train. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it in my pocket. Look at that. Look how simple that is. And huge hit. Why? Throw Drake on it. Easy. Now everybody's listening. Now you have the ladies.
Chris Rock have some material on this. I think it's went with something with like skeet.
Hey, let me say what's up to some guys in the chat really quick that hopped on. I think this is somebody I know from Twitter. He's a big 49er fan. He says, ha ha ha, sugar free from Pomona, AKP Town. I know where Pomona is.
Hey, man.
Says, go Niners.
But here's a fun fact.
Don Suave, what's up, bro? Says, what's up, gents?
We credit Sugar Free being from Pomona, but he was actually born in Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know that.
Free. The crazy thing is, so I've met several rappers in my time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're some of the coolest people that you'll ever meet. I kid you not, the only asshole I've ever met in my life was Charles Barkley. It's the only asshole.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
It was Dion Sanders, and that was 30 years ago. He has changed so much from when he was
Dion.
I got stories. I was a vendor over at Jack Murphy Stadium. I remember he was with the Braves. The two guys we were looking at were him and David Justice. David Justice had Halle Berry come to one game, and then the next night she wasn't there. He had two prostitutes on one arm going into the locker room.
Yeah, David Justice was a scumbag. He was a straight scumbag, man.
Dion was
Halle Berry wasn't good enough for him.
Let me rebuttal that
any day.
Let me rebuttal that. I'm a switch from rap into R&B. Neo said something that hit on and he said this on the radio, and it hit different because he was on the radio and he was talking about Beyonce's song that he wrote for Beyonce, but initially she took the credit, and then when he came out and said, that he wrote that, she understood it because his name was in the credits. So he wrote that to the left, like that joint. Neo wrote that.
You can tell it's him just from the style there. And you can tell a lot of his stuff, he wanted to write for Michael Jackson. Like
He
the
did.
love songs and Sexy Love, that's all
Mhm.
Michael Jackson made. It just
Oh,
never
yeah.
got to him.
Yeah, and he. Long story short, they were talking to him about that, and then somebody asked him a question, and Neo just said it real plainly. He said, "You show me the best looking woman in the world, I'll show you somebody who's tired of fucking her." And I was like,
My friend always says
Yeah.
that reference, man.
"Whoa!" Like, and you have to think about it. A lot of us get caught up in one specific facet of a person and don't look at the whole broad spectrum. Now, I'm not saying David Justice is cool for anything he did because he was a scumbag, and he had a lot of
Right.
problems that he did. But what I'm saying is there's always somebody that looks and goes, I can do better.
And to his credit, she has been married 4 separate times.
Mm.
So
Hey, I'm willing to try it out, bro.
Hey, you're next in line, buddy.
Like,
I'm with this guy. I like you though, Crypto. I ain't even tripping, bro. I look, man. So
Oh, man.
sometimes we just see that woman, and we all have that female where we're like, yeah, it don't matter what it is. I'll deal with it. I'll do that. We all have that celebrity crush that's like that. Like my wife told me straight up, if Chris Evans comes knocking at the door, it's a wrap. Like, I know that and understand it. I'm not Chris Evans. I'm not Captain fucking America. I'm just Dion. And believe you me, if he comes to the door, I'm screwed.
I told my first wife that if Janet Jackson ever said, "Let's go," not only would I call you from the hotel room, I let you speak to her and tell you I'm not coming home no more. Just send my stuff.
Okay. we got a special
deal with that.
Oh, go ahead.
How you deal with that is you ask her who her conditionals are first, and then when she tells you, because it's going to be Matthew McConaughey, whatever, the heartthrobs, right? You start naming off ladies down the street and see what her reaction is then. Once you actually got a chance with, ooh,
okay, so we got a question from the chat, and after we acknowledge that question from the chat, I want to jump into the next song because I know we're going off topic, which is fine because when we chill, we jump around from topics to topics, chill the spot. It's all good. I don't care. We can talk about this stuff. But we do have a question about your Charles Barkley experience. It says, wait. Tell us about Charles Barkley.
This.
All right. I'm going to make this short and sweet because I ain't going to give that dude too much time. I'm with my mom. We're in LA. We're walking. And we're by the Staples Center. We see, you by the Staples Center, you bound to see a couple different NBA stars. You don't know who it is. So we're walking, and I looked, and I was like, oh, hey, Mom, look, there's Charles Barkley. And my mom, and we're walking past him. That's all I literally said was, hey, look, there's Charles Barkley. Me and my mom walked past, and my mom accidentally bumped into him. So she looks, she said, I'm sorry, Mr. Barkley. And he turns around, he goes, oh, no autographs. I don't do that. And I looked and I was like, did nobody ask you for an autograph? Somebody was being polite to you, telling you they sorry for bumping into you. Like, dang, man, come on, bro. Like, it's not that serious. And he started to go back and forth with me, and I looked at him and I was like, Charles, you never won a ring. You were ass as a player, and I love when you went up and tried to dunk and your back locked on your bitch ass when you was out in Phoenix. Fuck off and get out of my face. Don't ever talk to my moms like that. I don't care who you are. You old and decrepit. I'll kick you in your knee, man. And he just looked at me like, and I was like, yeah, man, don't be rude like that, bro. If somebody's being polite, return the favor, man. Don't do that. That's not cool. And ever since then, it's just like every time I see him on TV, I love when Shaq rips him. Like I'm that person that's sitting on the couch like, get him, Shaq. Get his ass.
Right. Pile on.
I will be so glad when he leaves that show on TNT after this season.
My homie Rusty Knuckles met Gary Payton, and he was a big asshole. Also, I knew a waitress at the Golden Corral who man, this is it's one of them white ladies with a big old padunkadunk and a face of a dime. Oh my God. Oh, let's just say
she was an anomaly.
her tailor was my uncle, because he knew exactly what size her pants were to fit right there. Just, but she said she had been on a. Put your right leg over my shoulder. Put your left leg over my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But she said he was a dick too. But Rusty said that he walked up, he's seen, I can't remember what kind of car it was. I think it was a fat ass Acura or something, right? And I live up here in the Pacific Northwest in Washington, so that's where I know Rusty from. And he was down in like Bellevue or something, and that's like more millionaires per capita in Bellevue than anywhere in the United States, right? So, you know, that's where basketball players that play in Seattle are going to be hanging around. And he's like, "Hey, Mom, look, that's a cool ass car." And then Gary Payton comes out. He's like, "Get the fuck away from my car, kid." Da, 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 da. And he's like, "Oh my God, you're Gary Payton." He's like, "Get the fuck away from my car, man." He's like, "Chill out, dude." You know what I'm saying? Because he was like, I can't remember, 8 years old or something like that when this guy, you know, and like, get over yourself. Like he was parked in like the front of the store, you know, like a handicap, you know, like because he thought, oh, I'm just coming in and out. So he's parked like an asshole, and fucking somebody's, you know, not even touching his car, just pointing at it. You're gonna shoo a kid away.
All right.
Not like he brought East Oakland to Seattle there.
Really quick before we jump into the next song, I said I guess I caught Gary Payton on a good day because I ran into him at Candlestick once right before the playoff game when the 49ers played the Green Bay Packers where Kaepernick went wild, and I ran into him really quick. He was on the concourse, and I was like, "Hey, GP, what's up?" And we fist bumped each other. That was really quick, and my brother didn't realize who it was. He's like, "Who is that?" I was like, "Oh, it's Gary Payton, man." He had all his Niner gear on, but it was just so fast and quick. So I guess he was already in a relaxed mood. He was okay to talk to people that day. All right, so we've been kind of going off topic, which is fine, which is cool because we got a lot of laughs and a lot of funny stuff out of the way. But I do have another song queued up because we're going to the origins of hip hop. The first song we played was "The Preacher and the Bear." It's from circa 1950s, and we got another one. It's a video from 1968 from The Tonight Show. It's from an artist named Pigmeat Markham. He was an actor,
comedian,
and a musician. So, born in North Carolina in 1904. He lived to age 77, passed away in 1981 in the Bronx. And I had no idea.
I was born.
I had no idea who this dude was until this hip hop documentary I watched. The group that we played earlier, the Jubilees, that did the Preacher and the Bear. I knew who they were because I just dug deep into the internet at times throughout the years and just found all sorts of random songs. So, that definitely came to mind. And we're gonna play the next one. It's called "Here Comes the Judge." And you'll be surprised when you hear the flow and the beat, and you'll be like, "Whoa, way back then, this stuff existed," and you can see how like songs like this influenced a lot of artists, the early rappers out there. So I'm gonna go ahead and cue this video up. Give me a second. With the share screen feature, just a moment. Somebody else wants it. Oh, Kenny. Oh, hang on. Let me introduce this guy before we start the song. This is awesome, man. We got a panel tonight. Speaking of Pacific Northwest that you mentioned earlier, we got Kenny, Northern California guy, grew up in Northern Cali.
How you doing?
He's got crates of records. I think this guy's a big hip hop guy. He makes his own beats, and just introduce yourself really quick before you get the next song. And when we're done with the song, we'll have you talk a little more. Great to have you on, Kenny. I didn't expect you to jump on, but go ahead, man. What's up? Welcome to Chillin' at the Spot.
Well, my name's Kenny. Nice to meet you all, man.
Nice to meet you, Kenny.
Born and raised in Stockton, California, Central Valley, Northern Cali. Lived up here in the Pacific Northwest here in Oregon for the last 15 years. And so I've been away from the California rap a little bit, but when I was down there, I grew up on it all. So
you got tons of stuff to talk about with all your hip hop experiences. You mentioned things to me I never heard of from time to time, so we'll definitely catch up with that after we play the song. I'm gonna go ahead and cue up the song right now. It's by Pigmeat Markham. We'll check it out. Here we go. So share screen just a second. And this is called "Here Comes the Judge." Lights, camera, action. Here we go.
Here comes the judge. about ready to do that thing. I don't want no tears, I don't want no lies. Above all, I don't want no alibis. This judge is hip, and that ain't all. He'll give you time if you're big or small. Fall in line, or this coat is neat. Peace, brother. Pick up the judge, pick up the judge. Everyone go and pick up the judge. Everybody, pardon me. I'm going to Paris to stop this war. All those cats got to listen to me because I am the judge and you can plainly see. Lay down the law. They better not budge for I'll bust some heads because I am the judge. Pick up the judge. Pick up the judge. Everybody knows.
It's got bars.
I'm telling you, this almost sounds like it could be a Tribe Called Quest song.
I may be wrong.
I'm gonna add to that in a second.
I'll help us all out of this doggone mess. I sent a cable to Bob and Mac. Told them boys I was coming back. Sat right down with Rocky Nick and teach them some of these things.
Reminds me of like a Tribe Called Quest song where they like kick out the jam, kick out the jam. I'm telling you.
The money's all spent. Vote for me. I'm your president. Now you know I am the judge.
Johnny
That was
Carson
Johnny
Show,
Carson,
The Tonight
too.
Show, 1968. That's, who would have thought something like that existed back then? And I know what Tribe Called Quest reference you're talking about. There was a song called "We Got the Jazz." We got the jazz. We got the jazz. And then the call and response part. It also reminded me of the Tribe Called Quest song called "Can I Kick It?" And then the whole chorus.
Yes, we can.
Yes, you can. And I swear
Yes,
they must have
we
listened to
can.
this and got influenced by that.
Anybody else hearing an echo?
I hear an echo. Is that Kenny or who's that?
Is that me?
Hello, yo, what's up? All right, who's somebody mute themselves really quick because I hear an echo coming back on my end.
Hold on.
Hello?
Okay, now I don't hear it. It's gone. Yeah. All right. So Kenny, when you're ready to talk again, no, still hear it.
No, I think that's me. I'm gonna go out and come back in.
Okay, do that. So let me just say it again really quick. You know what? No, we still hear it.
It's Kenny.
It's probably me.
You
Okay,
got
I'm
headphones,
talking now.
Kenny?
I'm gonna mute my mic real quick. Tell me if it is.
All right. I got everybody muted now, and now I don't hear echo. So maybe it's you, Ryan. I don't know. Let me try it. All right,
Hello?
Ryan, I got you unmuted. No, it's not you.
Yo.
Dion. Okay, we'll try Dion. Dion, unmute yourself. Dion.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't hear an echo now. I think we're good.
Yo.
Okay, cool. We're all good. I was saying that on the
All
Tribe
good?
Called Quest, so with no echo this time, the Tribe Called Quest reference where they were going back and forth was "We got the jazz, we got the jazz," and then further ahead, a part of the song reminded me of "Can I Kick It?" and then the chorus was like, "Yes, you can." So it's cool to hear stuff like this because you go back and like, wait, growing up, I was listening to this song, and that's probably where they got the inspiration from. What do you guys think after watching it?
I heard Curtis Blow. I heard the Sugar Hill Gang in that. Like the flow was 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like but it was laid out properly, and it definitely takes you to an origin of rap because I started to listen to those dudes, and the difference is the beats are what evolved throughout hip hop. And that's what I've always seen. You start with the jazz and the soul music. You go all the way back to blues with Muddy Waters and, Cadillac Records, all these cats, Lil Walter. And you start to hear the evolution of the music and the beats and what people are talking about, how the subject matter slowly progresses and changes. But it's understandable through time. It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. And anything you want to add to that, Dave?
No, I think he perfectly said it.
Okay,
But
okay.
the flow is similar to the first artist we had. Just it's syncopated with the music there, so it flows evenly. It's
Yeah.
not like it's struggling.
And he said during the song was playing something. This is a swing or something. And I'm not the biggest jazz expert, but I noticed it was a swing jazz type beat. You know,
It was slowed down a bit, but yeah.
yeah. So I mean, with hip hop, so obviously there's some blues in hip hop. There's some jazz, and even if you listen to some dancehall reggae, I think because in New York there's a lot of Jamaican. I was Biggie Smalls, for example. He's from a Jamaican background, and but even before that, I think Herc, one of the first hip hop DJs or the guy who was starting those block parties in New York. I believe he was Jamaican. I believe he was playing some dancehall reggae type stuff at those parties too. So it's almost like an eclectic mix of certain
You
forms,
listen to a
genres of
lot of
music.
the Gangstar early stuff. There's major jazz influence there. I'm
Oh
thinking
yeah,
of works like I Manifest.
I
That
remember
was
that.
Night in Tunisia straight through, and Premier just did his thing with it. That whole first album was heavily jazz influence.
Dude,
And,
Gangstar is pretty much like rapping over jazz.
mhm.
Straight up.
Kendrick Lamar, if you listen to Section 80, his mixtape,
Yes,
heavily
that's the
jazz
first one.
influence, man. Like his first one, heavily jazz influence, and like it's beautiful when you see people do that because they show the appreciation for the people that came before them, and I think that's where a lot of today's people get upset. Oh, ooh, Houdini,
Yeah, this
yep.
guy has the record collection, man. When you guys are ready, I'm gonna ask him a few questions about his
Oh yeah, please, all
yeah.
by all means,
Hey,
man.
I'm a
Kenny,
hoe.
Rakim
I'm a
was
hoe is one
probably
of my
the
favorite
perfect-
songs.
I'm a hoe.
Rakim is probably
Now,
the
how's your
best
wife
artist.
and my kid?
Rakim was probably the best artist when it comes to jazz influences.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
You listen to
yeah.
his
Eric B and
style,
Rakim.
he's moving in and out just like
Oh.
a jazz song. It's
My
smooth.
buddy-
No low.
My buddy
And
Rusty
Gangs-
Knuckles saw Rakim in a bar with like 20 people. He did it a cappella for like an hour and a half. He said that was like top 3 best like performances he ever seen. He said with nobody there, not even a band, he killed it. He played his ass off for the room. You know what I mean? So Rakim, big ups.
Rakim has major bars. Like
Oh yeah.
that's a dude.
He's got that
who-
voice too. He's
Yeah,
Rakim had that voice. Yeah.
That's what I was saying. It's syncopated with jazz music. His cadence, his style, it just fits perfectly like a glove when it comes to jazz.
Okay, so Kenny, try to speak right now because I want to make sure there's no echo, and I want to have you want you to have the floor right now since you're here as one of our newer guests. What's up, Kenny? You hear me? Hear me good?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
All right, cool. Yeah, we're good. No echo. Cool. All right. So last week when we did our first episode, not sure if you caught it. Just a little background. We started off the show and I talked about my experiences, how I started off listening to music as a kid and 80s music, and I was playing my little keyboards when I was a young little kid, and eventually I started listening to rap. And we all pretty much talked about our origins and our backgrounds and how we stumbled into the whole hip hop scene somewhere down the road. So go ahead and tell your story and your journey through the world of hip hop.
Man, it all started with the radio, man. That radio would be playing, and in Stockton, back in the days, like the early '80s, there was a station called KSTN. They used to have Saturday night the mixes, and they'd play rap music. But my first introduction to rap music is Curtis Blow, The Breaks. I heard that song, The Breaks, and I was like, what is this, dude? Like, because I used to listen to like slow rock and stuff like that because of my older cousins and stuff like that. I used to listen to rock and slow rock, Led Zeppelin, all that good stuff, whatever. But man, I heard rap music, and then when I started going to school, I started like noticing people bringing cardboard to school, and they unfold it, and they'd be breakdancing in the hallways, dude. You know what I mean? And they would bring like parts of their parents' kitchen floor and linoleum. You know what I mean? And they'd do that at school, and they'd bring these boom boxes, and they would play Curtis Blow, they'd play Run DMC, they'd play the Beastie Boys, they'd play all that, man, and they'd sit there and break dance at school, and it was like crowds would just surround these fools. And it was just fascinating, man. I got into it and I started listening to it. I was into like punk rock and hip hop all at the same time. And I loved it all, man. I loved all types of music, but I used to always keep my ear to the radio. And you know, I did the cassette tape thing where I'd put that cassette tape in and I'd wait for the radio station to play Saturday night the mixes, because they'd do it for like an hour. They'd play nothing but rap music straight up. And I'd put the tape in and get ready to push record. As soon as that beat started, I'd push record and I'd save it on the tape and listen to it for days on end. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It was just fascinating to me. I tried to break dance when I was younger, and I was all right, but I wasn't the best. But you know what I mean?
How about your record collection?
There was definitely a skill there. My record collection, man, dude, my mom used to collect records, and I'd always get my butt whooped for breaking her needles on her record player. I used to try to scratch records, and I didn't realize you had to have a certain type of needle for it. So, you know, I'd always end up breaking her shit, and then I'd get my ass whooped. And then, so it's all good though. The Beastie Boys, Run DMC, man. Who else, dude? Back then, the Fat Boys, man. There was all kinds of stuff. The movies that came out, you know, Beat Street, Break In. You know, there was movies that came out and just helped it all out, man. And it just grew. It grew. And then when I got older, I started getting into my Cali rap. You know, the only rappers that were out in Cali at that time were Ice-T, Too Short, that I knew of. And so I gotta give props to my hometown though, Stockton, California, man. There used to be a group called Killer Tribe. They sang
I heard of them.
a song called Home Alone, and that's the Killer Tribe. Yeah, they came out with a song called Home Alone, and it blew up in Stockton. And then you had Hustlers coming up, HCU, you had, and then man, who else? Cops. There was a group called COPS. You had the Funk Mob, and these are all Stockton groups. So, but you know what? That hip hop's, it's just a thing, man. It's good music, dude. It's good music, and there's a story behind every song. So, you know what I mean?
Without a doubt, man. And I was gonna say, I forgot to mention this earlier. I know Dion was going on about lyrics and all that, and you're almost like the Rosetta Stone of rap music. If you can dive in deep into the lyrics and decipher what they're saying and what they mean, and that's cool, man. And I was saying it earlier, I'm a sucker for good beats and good flows. But you know, one of my favorite rappers growing up was KRS-One, and his lyrics definitely had a meaning to him.
Yeah.
One more thing, a lot of people don't know this. When I started my 49er YouTube channel, I was like, what should I name this channel? And for some weird, strange reason, the song Criminal Minded by KRS-One and Boogie Down Productions jumped in my head. And I was like, Criminal Minded. Oh, 49er Minded, let's do this. So, you know, it's just interesting how music surrounds us, then hip hop surrounds us, and eventually we get influence in some way, shape, or form, you know?
I have one photo. You brought up KRS-One. I have one photo that I have to go way back in my IG profile to find. But KRS-One came to San Diego at the Rock and Roll Hotel there, and it was a rare treat because his DJ happened to be D Nice. It was the first time they had gotten together in 15 years, and we were treated to D Nice on the turntables and KRS on the mic. And they took this huge crowd picture there. It was iconic.
Well, if you can find it and you can drop the link in the chat, if you want to share it on your screen, or if you want me to share it, we can put it on here. Picture if you want.
If I find it, I'll give it to your message.
Okay, cool. Anything else you guys want to add and chime in? Because I put it in the chat. If you guys want to end and make it an hour-long show, that's fine. Unless you guys feel like going on longer. I don't have any more songs to play. I don't know what you have in line, Crypto.
I can tell you, man. I met Snoop on several occasions, and Snoop was one of the coolest people in the world. And like, I met Snoop at a gas station in Signal Hill, which is like borderline Long Beach. So I go to the gas station. At this time, I was smoking Black and Milds. I go to the gas station and get me a Black and Mild. And I walk in and I accidentally bump into somebody and I'm like, oh, my bad. And all I hear is, oh, it's all good, cuz. And I'm like, I know that voice. And I look and I'm like, yo, it's Uncle Snoop. He was like, what's happening, cuz? And I'm like, oh, so he just cool like that? I was like, oh, man, just finna go up in here and get this Black and Mild. He was like, for sure, man, stay up, be easy. You know, and he went, hopped in his lowrider, you know, pumped his gas. And, you know, I'm walking out. I got my Black and Mild. And he's sitting in his car doing this, the old looking for the lighter joint. You know, you got pat your pockets and everything. And I'm walking away from the gas station. I'm like, I'm not about to light this at the gas station and blow everybody up. So he rolls out of the gas station and I lit my Black and Mild. And he was like, cuz I need a lighter. So I'm like, am I not going to give a lighter to Snoop? Fuck. Hell yeah, I'm going to give a lighter.
It's my pleasure, sir.
So I hope I gave him a lighter and he was like, he lit it and he was about to get, I was like, bro, it's an honor for you to keep that. Straight up. And he looked at me and he was like, man, you know, he told me, he was like, you know, it's always so cool when you meet people that really appreciate what you do and they just appreciate who you are as a person. And I was like, yeah, man, you know, I met Master P when I was working I used to work at this grocery store in Pavilion in Beverly Hills. And P was literally the nicest person in the world. Like I met him when he was still married to his ex-wife, and I met Romeo when he was Lil Romeo.
Yes,
like he was like he was like fresh into his rap career. Look, Romeo used to get his own basket, buy his own groceries, but what he would do at the end was he would take a bunch of crumpled up hundreds out of his pocket and just throw it on the cash register and leave. And I remember P literally smacking him in the back of the head, like physically, just bop. And he look at him and he would always tell him, go get that money, count your change. I worked too hard for that for you to just throw it away. And it wasn't until like a couple of times that, you know, Romeo started to get it. And every time he got groceries, I mean, he had a bunch of shit. So I would always help him to his car and he would just drop gems on me. And he would always tell me, like, no matter what you want to do, no matter what your dreams, your aspirations, continue to go after them. Like he'd drop gems on you just to drop gems. And he was like one of the nicest people in the world, man. I met Dre at a recording studio, like just offhand. One of my boys was like, hey, man, you ever been to the studio? I was like, nah. He was like, come through. So I go through. I'm walking through the studio. It's dark. And I'm walking past and like I'm just looking in room after room. And one room I look and I'm like, whoa, that's Dr. Dre right there. And I didn't know that the guy that I went with was one of his artists at the time. And I mean, we know Dr. Dre has millions of artists that never came out.
Right.
So he was like, yo, man, you want to meet him? And I was like, yeah. So I walked in. He was like, what's going on, man? I was like, how you doing? And he was like, I'm good. He was like, who are you? I was like, oh, man, I'm just a regular dude, man. My boy just brought me to the studio. He's like, oh, yikes. Yeah, that's my man right there. Yeah, we're going to try to get him on. I was like, for sure. And he was like, man, it's nice to meet you. He was like, so you here to just take in or you trying to rap? Like, what's going on? I was like, I'm just taking in the vibe, man. I don't really know. You know, I'm just here. And he was like, that's cool, man. Stay up.
Got it.
He was the nicest person in the world.
Man, you weren't lying when you said you were full of stories, man. You
oh, yeah, lying. Bro. Yeah, I done met so many people.
I got a buddy of mine, a really good friend of mine waiting in the wings. I'm going to bring him on right now. He said he wanted to ask the panel some questions. So,
yeah.
What up, Javier? Don Suave, how you doing, man? Hey, you were on my Larry Kruger podcast,
that's
and now
right,
you're here.
That's right, man. Hey, back to back, you know what I mean?
Hey, Dave,
I'm working overtime today, but I don't care. I'm doing this for the love of music and
right,
Niners and whatever.
Right,
Dave said he found that KRS-One joint.
I'm about to send you to you right now.
Okay, yeah, go right ahead. Do that.
Yeah. So yeah, I love the show, Bashar. Yeah, I tuned into the last one with crypto. Yeah, that was a good one too. You know, but yeah. No, I gotta. Oh, first of all, by the way, I love that story, Niner Gang, about Charles Barkley. I'm glad you didn't take any mess from him. You know what I mean? That was that was a trip.
The number one thing, bro,
is to the women from San Antonio.
You
Oh,
talk.
that's right. That's right.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah. San
Number one
Antonio.
thing is you talking to my mama. Don't do that.
Yeah. That's a
Don't
no.
do that. Mom's
a
is off
no-no.
limits, bro. I'm not.
Yeah.
I ain't about to play about that.
Yeah.
So he he got the short end of the stick on that one because I think he thought since he was a celebrity, we was about to be bowing down and kissing his feet. And I don't care who you are, man. You still a human being. You put your pants on the same way I do.
That's
You
right.
know.
That's right. So I asked this question last time to Crypto, and I know this question changes from person to person. But so who are you guys' top three rappers in no particular order?
Oh.
That's a good one.
That's a toughie.
Oh.
Tough one.
Do you mean of this decade? Of
All time, your favorite.
Damn.
We all got favorites. You know? Yeah, top three. We were doing top five last time, but we're gonna just go do top three.
Whenever somebody comes up with a list, I say I gotta have more than 5 or 10.
Hey, just to make it even better, can we exclude Eminem, Biggie, and Tupac?
Ooh.
Okay.
That
You're gonna make a lot of people mad when you exclude Tupac.
Kenny is the man for that.
Good.
That's right.
You get an automatic top three out. Now we can actually get to the real list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because those would be on the list of everyone's list, right? Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I'm not that big of an Eminem fan.
You know what? I've never liked Eminem at all. You know,
I'll say this: can Eminem rap? Yes. Is he a great battle rapper? Yes. But when you listen to his catalog of music, for my taste, there are very few songs that I can understand and or identify with.
Yeah.
So
and then
his subject matter be crazy. Like I'm gonna tell you this. This was the craziest shit I ever heard, and this is how I got introduced to Eminem. Hi kids, do you like violence? Want to see me stick 9-inch nails through each one of my eyelids?
You like Primus?
Like, who the fuck says that? And I thought about it. I was like, I mean, it's cold that he got away with it, but no, I don't want to see you stick 9-inch nails through each one of your eyelids.
They were references to rock bands. I don't know if you knew
that.
It
was.
Primus,
and it took me a
then
second to catch the bar. Like that was my thing. But all right.
There's some of the subject matters I can't get into.
It might be a little more cultural though.
Stuff like that. That doesn't exist where I'm from, so I can't.
But what No Crypto was saying was right. It's more pop culture.
Yeah,
like that's why he crossed over.
White kids are like, yeah, that's the shit I want to hear about. That's some crazy shit. You know what I mean? That's some shit my mom doesn't want to hear me listening to. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to take away from his lyrical skill.
Oh no, he's got skill.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's better than a lot of people out there.
Right, absolutely, 100%.
Best songs are when he has a target that he's going after.
People in the world. I'm gonna tell you right now. But I will say this: I have seen him go at a lot of people's throats. The one person that I respect for coming back at him and coming back hard, Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah,
I remember that. They had that little.
I think he did his thing. For me, for my taste, I think Machine Gun Kelly did his thing, and I was like, it would be nice if those two could clear that up and get on a record, because I think that record would be insane. But you know how M is. If I didn't already cut your head off, I'm not about to put it back on and sew it together and then do a record with you.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he's too petty for that.
The Nick Cannon thing, I never understood that shit. And
all it was because Nick was defending Mariah. That's literally it. He was defending Mariah.
Yeah.
Which a husband is supposed to do.
And he actually stated that in the song.
I'm from San Diego. We went to the same church. We grew up around the same areas.
Yeah.
So when he came at him, it was like, it doesn't even make sense. He's not battling you musically, obviously. The Mariah thing was already over with. Why'd you have to come back years later and reignite that whole feud?
Well,
that
I
was
I think there
bullshit.
was some things that were actually said, and that's why that came out. And Nick had said something. That's why he brought it into it. And I believe, if I'm correct, in the song, he pretty much referenced, "I know you're having your wife's back, but chill the fuck out before you do something stupid, because I will eviscerate you."
Yeah, Nick Cannon wants no part of a lyrical battle with Eminem. Like, that's not gonna happen because you're gonna get destroyed. His own people continue to beat him up on his show about his music. But to answer your question, Don Suave, if I got to take those dudes out of the equation,
Yeah.
I will give you DMX, Ice Cube, and even though it wasn't an overly long time, Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
Yeah, I like the Nipsey one. Yeah,
Because of his impact some people make that impact in a short span of time and it just blows you out of the water. So you're like, whoa. But I have to say, yeah, that would be my top three: DMX, Cube, and Hustle. And the number one reason for Cube is Cube was the man behind the bars. Without Ice Cube's bars, Eazy-E don't have Easy Does It. He doesn't have half the records that he has. There is no cruising down the street in Mach 6'4", jocking the bitches, smacking the hoes, went to the park to get
all
to
that
school.
stuff, man.
Like, yeah, Q pin game is insane. And you do not, and still to this day, there's not a soul out there that yells his name because you know that it don't matter. Ice Cube will come to rip you a brand new one. Okay? If you don't believe me, go back to No Vaseline.
Yes.
The other thing about
Yes.
Nipsey Hussle is I wish he would have been here longer to spread more game, because I think what he was learning and what he was passing on, I think could have jump-started future generations, you know what I mean, of people that need it, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people that listen to hip-hop and rap, some of them aren't in the best socioeconomic, situations, and to be able to get that kind of knowledge to them into something that they're receptive to is just important.
And the way he gave back to his community was a thing of beauty. Like, you respect a dude like that because he went back to his own neighborhood and he didn't play around. He gave back. He showed love, and it's sad that somebody from his own hood did that. But at the same time, it's one of those things, man, that people tell you all the time. You got to be careful. I'm going to tell you right now, I guarantee you ain't going to see Jay-Z and Marcy Projects.
Nope.
You will not, because Jay-Z already knows.
People from my generation get mad when I say this. When they talk about Tupac and I say I put Nipsey Hussle above him, and the reason is Pac talked about many of these things. Nipsey Hussle actually did those things. He got it done. Now, we have an advantage here in Southern California. A lot of the mixtapes that Nipsey did, we got to hear him here in San Diego. But the first time I had seen him was he did the cypher on the Rap Awards for BET. And then for a couple years without those mixtapes, I actually lost track of him. I was like, where is this guy? And then 5 years later, I saw him back on BET doing the song with YG, his homie. And then I was just sorry I wasn't able to keep up with him while he was here and have to appreciate him now that he's gone. But for my top three, Cube is in there. And then I'm bringing up two old school rappers. I'm bringing up Rakim and I'm bringing up KRS-One. KRS-One is my battle rapper. He will embarrass you wherever you are. And Rakim's the guy that if he goes first, you aren't going to get a chance to rap because he already broke the mic.
Hey, Super Dave, I got a follow up question.
Wait, really quick. We gotta make sure everybody answers that question because I'm ready to go on that question. Okay. Really quick. And if Kenny, you want to chime in, or whoever hasn't chimed in on the question, go ahead. I'm gonna chime in really quick. All right, go ahead. You ready?
I like Busta Rhymes. I like Brother Lynch Hung.
Oh, nice.
I like Brother Lynch Hung. I like One more. I have to say, Rakim, dude.
Yeah, Rakim. That's solid. Yeah,
Now
yeah.
the Brother Lynch hung drop.
Yeah, you know what? I like
I
that.
haven't heard
That
that
was
name
that guy
in a
was always
Hey,
smooth
minute.
too.
Wow.
hey, I'm about to go on Spotify right after this, man. And
He's
you know
hard.
what I
All
mean?
right, so I'm gonna drop mine. As you know, it's about my background. I'm Bay Area, but I watched. Obviously, the first rap I listened to was obviously New York rap, because for a long point in time there wasn't really much of California rap going on. But you know, in any particular order, I mean, obviously it's gonna be, Too Short, because Too Short I heard when I was in elementary school, and my brother was in junior high at the time. He'd come home and bring the tapes, and I was like, this is the first time I'm hearing curse words in music. Like, what's going on here? Is this supposed to happen? But I was like, wait, it sounds good. It's catchy. I like it. You know what I mean? So that's me and Too Short, my Too Short connection. Obviously in high school, E40 and the Click were around. Big E40. Yeah, I like to impersonate him. Never met him. Met his sister once, Sugar T, but love E40. And of course, when I was in my own TV raps journeys, before that in junior high, again, I say Criminal Minded, 49er Minded. That's where I made the connection. Karis, One Boogie Down Productions, amazing lyricist, had tons of awesome, catchy songs back in the day, and that's my top three.
So,
Crypto, it's on you.
yeah. So, I got to go with Rakim. Like, once I found Rakim, I knew he was like that trendsetter that really set forward everything that I was listening to later on. You know what I mean? He was the one everybody set the bar on and they had to beat. But the Brother Lynch hung, like, I can't deny that. Like, I've listened to Season of the Six so many times. I've had some people, I'm sitting there rapping the whole song, without missing a beat. But people are like, wait, you know all the lyrics? Yes, I know every single lyric. In fact, Largest Way to Represent by Mr. Doc. That's another one of my favorites. It's off the other album. Oh, it's a good one. But also Treat 'Em Like. That's another good one.
Right.
I spent a lot of time around these guys, yeah. It's, I don't know if it's a Pacific Northwest thing, because Kenny, I know you, but it was like everybody, it was like issued, like everybody had to have Season of the Sick, either copied or stolen or something. You know what I mean? Like, you weren't anybody if you didn't have that. And the third one, I'm gonna go with Zach De La Rocca from Rage Against the Machine. I know.
Oh, you're going with Rage Against the Machine,
Okay.
Zach. I saw him live. I told you way before they put out the first.
I know
CD.
he's not necessarily a rapper, but tell me that some of those lyrics aren't a rap, and just with a a guitar and some drums. You know what I mean?
I heard his collab with Pharrell, man. He can flow on a real hip hop track. He's good.
He's on like every Run the Jewels album.
He's straight up rapping, and his guitarist is scratching on the guitar.
Oh yeah. Tom Morello.
Totally unbelievable, man.
I love it when they come out with the bass and the drums, and they just start getting that funk groove going, and then next thing you know, the rage comes in, and then you know what I mean? But love that funk groove. Yeah, that's me.
All right. So I didn't share the picture yet. I'm gonna share the screen really quick for that picture, because I know David wanted me to show it. And after that, Javier had another question. I guess after we answer Javier's question,
this was taken 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay, just a second. 8 years ago. Just give me a second. I'm gonna share the tab, and you can go ahead and give us the story once again. There you go, right there. Go ahead, tell your story.
It's the first time that KRS-One and D Nice have been together since their days in Boogie Down Productions, and we just happened to get them at the Hard Rock Hotel in San Diego. They went 2 straight hours. I mean,
wow,
it was phenomenal. It wasn't just the BDP songs that were performed. He went off the top, and it was like D Nice didn't miss a beat. It was like old. It was like old school. It was like they had never had disconnection at all.
They never missed a beat, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, Zach De La
appreciate your
Rocca
story.
has a song with Last Emperor and KRS-One. It's called CIA.
That's
I
right.
would suggest you go watch it.
I gotta listen to that.
Man, I never heard of Last Emperor before that, and I haven't found anything that I really appreciate as much. But oh my god, he kills it on that song, and so does everybody else. I mean, it's awesome.
All right, Javier, what was your next question before we
Yeah.
wrap up the show?
Yeah, Super Dave said something very interesting. He said that he had put Nipsey above Pac because some of the community service work that Nipsey was doing. But what if, I mean, Pac died like in his mid-20s, and but what if Pac would have lived? You know what I mean? You know, because Pac had he had the politically social background. Like, what if Pac would have had that Twitter and the social media? How do you think Pac would have been? Do you think he would have moved into some of that community service work, or you think he would have been wilding out like Kanye? Like, how do you think
No,
Pac? How do you think?
I think he was ready to get out of the music game and expand into the business side. He always talked about that. I think he would have been a bigger financial mogul than Jay-Z. And I think a lot of the independent stuff that we're seeing now with these new artists coming out with their own distribution, their own platform, I think he would have pioneered that because he always preached about having your own masters, owning your own stuff, not being owned by a record company. When he did the Death Row deal, it was to get out of jail. He was going to do his albums and then do his own thing. He had already signed with Quincy Jones's label. So he was on that mindset of expanding and business-wise, getting out of music, growing into other ventures. So I think he would have been a powerful financial force that everybody would have looked up to. And
his
been
clothing line
by.
would have never fizzled
Yeah,
out. I think he would have
wasn't he
been
dating-
on the top of the game forever.
He's
Wasn't he
dating
dating like her
Quincy
his
Jones's
niece or
daughter.
something? Her daughter, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because the issue with Pac was, and I say this really, really lightly, is because the issue with Pac was he, Suge had him locked in, and right before Pac died, you saw him promoting, the Death Row East and Death Row South and all that other stuff. He was basically trying to find his way out of it. And, one of the people in the music industry that would not do records with you if you didn't own your masters was Prince.
Yes.
Prince would ask you straight up, do you own your masters? No, can't do a record with you. I'd rather you own it than the corporate structure own it. So it's a struggle. But I think if that would have, for me, Pac in this era would have had an even louder voice. And I think he would have been able to reach these kids on a different level. And I think if Pac would have been alive, to see him link with Hustle would have been a beautiful thing. Because
Prince
Hustle
was another extremely smart business.
Oh, he was way beyond.
That's
smart,
why we
bro.
got Michael Jordan's shoe. You know what I mean? We don't have Air Jordan without Prince. I mean,
And
I never knew that.
The crazy thing, the Jordans didn't have that Nike swoosh on, and they still don't. They never believed in him from the jump. They never believed he would be able to move the units in the shoes that he did. And I tell people all the time, like, I've owned one pair of Jordans in my life. I got those joints when I was in junior high school from a girl who liked me, and I didn't like her. So I didn't take the shoes initially.
Hey, I hope she's not watching.
I've never bought a pair of Jordans to this day.
Yeah, but my only number one reason for the Jordans was I had watched so many people get beat up and shot over them in my neighborhood. I didn't want them. Like, here's my thing. People used to make fun of Shaq. They used to make fun of Stephon Marbury because their shoes were in Payless. But I appreciated them for that. You know why? Because that's what my mama could afford. When you growing up and you ain't got much, I don't need my mom working a double and a triple to buy me some kicks that I got to fight for every day just to keep on my feet.
Right.
And Shaq, I'll tell you this, one of the nicest, humblest human beings in the world. Shaq came to a Payless that was on La Brea and Rodeo, which is now La Brea and Obama. And that Payless, it's not there no more. But he came to that Payless with a trailer. I'm talking a full 18-wheeler trailer full of his shoes and stayed there until every kid got a pair.
Oh, that's dope.
Now, everybody would clown on you. Oh, man, look, you wearing the Shaqs. Them deals are trash. You can't afford no Jordans. I tell you this, When I walk home with these Shaqs, I walk home. When you walk home with them Jays, you got to keep your head on a swivel. So
And that's exactly why I
I'm
rocked
okay
the
with it.
Starberries when they came out, for that exact reason.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to get in trouble or get jumped over those shoes.
I respected those
shoes.
dudes because they put it in the community, man, and they did that. And though people made fun of them, it wasn't fair. But I would always look at people and be like, yo, at the end of the day, man, those dudes did something for us, and y'all was too stupid to recognize what they were doing.
And
Shaq,
they didn't have to do that.
They didn't have to
signed the big
Shaq,
deals and gotten their money.
Man, Shaq was the biggest dude. Like, Shaq could have went to Reebok, all of them cats, man. Come on, you serious? But yeah, man, it's definitely I think Pac would have been awesome, but I think he would have spent a lot of time trying to get away from Suge and Death Row, because Suge was a tyrant, and Suge was that type of guy. Like what you saw in the movie is what he really did. Yeah. There were lots of parts of the movie where it was Hollywood, but when he really told Pac, like, the house your mama got, this, that, blah, 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 where's, I still need my money. And it's basically him, looking at him going like, and it's cool. It's cute that you thought you was going to do your little albums and get up out of here, but that's not what we're doing. So Left Eye explained it best, and in the behind the music, how you can sell 10 million records and only have $300,000 to show for it, and it blows your mind because you look and you go, "Damn, look at the budget."
Most Def's song Mathematics, he breaks it down.
You were mentioning Prince as a shrewd businessman.
Yeah.
You know who was it? Who else was a shrewd businessman, but we don't give him credit? Michael Jackson.
Oh, yes.
Michael Jackson at one time had half of Sony Music Publishing.
Mm-hmm.
The way he did things, like he was kidding Paul McCartney when they were doing a song together. He said, I'm gonna buy your music.
Yeah, he had the Beatles catalog.
He went out and outbid him, and he made money. Or look at what he did with Eminem. Eminem made fun of him on his song. He made one call to BET and one call to his publishing company. BET made Eminem issue an apology, and every time Eminem performed a song, Michael got paid until he died. That's how you do that.
That's crazy.
Hey man, that's how it works. That's how it works.
I don't know if I think that's so genius. You know what I mean? Like that's but.
He just
I understand protecting your own.
I think he was alluding to the power that Mike had.
Definitely.
And he didn't make a big fuss over it. You didn't see him complain in the press over that. He just did it behind the scenes.
Did you see that last movie about the concert that they were about to do and go on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That man still had it. They murdered him. Because it didn't seem to me like he was like what they were describing. You know what I mean? He seemed like he was totally like the state they were describing him. He wouldn't be like telling somebody, no, that's not it. No, that's not it. He would just be going along. Okay, that's great. Let's go. You know what I mean? But he was like, oh, get it over. Let's get it right, because he was an extreme perfectionist. You know what I mean? If he was that messed up and this and that, he wouldn't be worried about the little things. He wouldn't be worried about this or that. He'd just be trying to get that. Let's get these checks going. Let's get out of here. I'm about to die. No, he was like, I'm there. I'm totally alert. This and that. Nah, they killed him.
Wanted to read this comment really quick by Break Davis. Not sure if you're somebody I already know on Twitter. You might be some just random 49er fan. But anyways, shout out to you, bro. You said, bro, 49ers and Bay Area rap, really wish I could have been on this show 100. And I told you could add me on Twitter if you're not already on there. We could talk about putting you on if you're passionate about this. And for the record, it's about hip hop in general. But hey, I do love Bay Area rap. You see my background. So.
And he said, and he mentioned SIBO. I heard that.
Yeah. He threw up a bunch of things on this.
And X-rated Macaframalama, even if I'm in the slammer.
Yeah,
you know so much about rap, Ryan. I don't know how you do this, man.
E40, Mac Dre. So now some of these dudes I don't know, because I'm LA versus Bay Area, so I don't know a lot of the Bay Area rappers, but Messy Marv, Yuck Mouth, Lynch, Sebo, E40, Mac Dre. Like I know about these
Mac
dudes.
Dreezy.
And people, what people, I kid you not, the dopest shit I ever heard 40 say was, "I ain't rapping too fast. Y'all just listening too slow."
Yes.
That's right.
You know what's funny? When I was doing
on the
stand-up
TV
comedy,
channel.
I had a little thing in my stand-up comedy where people would complain about me talking too fast, and I'd be like, "No, you listen too slow." And I had no idea E40 even said that, so that's even funnier, right?
Yeah, that was the thing on the
Hustler.
Rap Awards, that West Coast Cypher.
Yeah, that was the West Coast
Hustler.
Cypher, man. See,
Hey, Bashar, you met Mac Mall a few times, right? I love Mac Mall.
I only met Mac Mall once. Actually, I'm going to make an
Mac
episode
Mall
out of
is
it.
wild.
I filmed the Mac Mall tailgate at a 40 over a Candlestick, and I'll make that an episode. We'll
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Mac Mall was hella cool, but I was laughing because Brian was saying, "Yeah, I'm just a hustler." That I wasn't ready for that.
And you know the funny thing
Mr.
about Short,
Flamboyant is my favorite E40 song. I
Short
love the beat.
is-
It's so weird.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Short is actually from LA.
Right.
He didn't move to the Bay till he was about 15.
15 years old.
You know, and Exhibit is from New Mexico. Ice-T
Yes.
from New Jersey. Pac is really from like the East Coast. Baltimore.
Exhibit is from Detroit. He moved from Detroit to New Mexico and then came to the West Coast.
So like it's crazy how you see it, but he started honing his skill when he got to the West Coast and he started messing with the Licks and all them cats, you know, because remember the Alcoholics, they was out there, you know what I'm saying? And like, see, when I see stuff like this, the first thing I think of is what Drink Champs. That's why I love the show, because they always bring people on and they show love to these cats, because a lot of the people in today's times don't want to. But yeah, man, believe me, bro, some of these people are so nice. Snoop, super cool. Dre, super cool. Master P, one of the nicest guys on the planet, man.
I got to meet Master P when he was still on his NBA chase, because he played for a minor league basketball team in San Diego.
He was trying to play for the Hornets or something. Yeah.
Right.
Toronto.
Percy Miller.
Right, Toronto. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he went by number 15, Percy Miller.
Yeah, you can still find his videos where he's playing in preseason.
Yeah.
And he credits the Bay Area with giving him his start.
I remember when I was in high school, people were running around with Master P tapes and like, "Oh, Master P." I was like, oh, "Okay, cool." And I saw this video of the ghetto trying to kill me. And I went to high school on San Pablo, which is right on the border of Richmond, and freaking in the video he's wearing a Richmond hat or whatever. Then fast forward years later, 6 years later, and boom, he's this national guy, and people are saying he's from New Orleans. I was like, New Orleans? And then people I knew that from the Bay Area were like, no, yeah, but we knew his brother. His brother, Stuck the Shocker, went to high school with us, blah, blah, blah. So it's just funny. So I didn't know that he was originally from New Orleans, and he went to Richmond and was out in the Bay Area for a bit. And he went back and then go back over there and got huge.
I wasn't trying to go to that record store in Richmond, man. Richmond was worse than Oakland in terms of...
I worked at Hilltop Mall at one point, so you know where that is.
Yeah, I was trying to stay away from Richmond when he had that record shop.
All right. Hey, guys, so we're going to wrap it up pretty soon, but any final thoughts before we do so?
Yeah, do you guys think that Kendrick Lamar is going to be that dude, you know what I mean, from L.A.?
If he comes out with more music, man, he took such a big break. He took a really long break.
We are feeding for his stuff.
And I love Kendrick, and Kendrick is definitely he can be that dude, but he has to give us the music, because what happened with Kendrick was he was passed the torch by all the West Coast greats. 40, Snoop, Short, like everybody basically came and was like, this is the next guy. You need to be able to pay attention to him. And then when he dropped his albums were just flat out amazing pieces of art. But the issue is he took that hiatus, and the song you can hear him on now is that joint he got with Baby King,
his cousin.
He's like the West Coast version of Nas.
Yeah, and he's the West Coast version of Jay-Z. He's like,
I was
crazy
just saying, he
with
comes out, he's got that big, huge album that everybody's just like, you got to hear this. It's the best thing running. You know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom.
You're right.
You get, like,
it's a lot of pressure on him, because everything he has as far as albums has done well. You know,
Mhm.
Good Kid, Bad City. Then he elevated it with the next album, and then when we didn't think he could do it again, he did it again.
Yeah,
Then
with
the
Damn.
movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure on this last release, but
That Black Panther soundtrack was amazing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what did
yeah.
it do? It showcased another Bay Area group,
Right.
SOB RBE.
RBL.
And they literally said when they went in the studio that they were willing to take direction from him on what to do. And Kendrick did not do that. He looked at them and said, "Here's the beat, go hard." And they went in and just destroyed that song. That Paramedic, if you've never heard Paramedic, you are sleeping. And like the Black Panther soundtrack was a work of art, and it was beautiful because he brought everybody. He brought TDE, and he brought a lot of people that you may or may not know. But man, I'm telling you, Kendrick can be that dude. He just has to give us the music. And I know he's been being a dad and cooling out because of the pandemic and everything, but we back outside, bro. It's time to feed that need. Yeah. If he would drop music, I would definitely listen to it, because when he go back to when he was on what was the joint? It was him and ASAP Rocky.
Right.
That joint where he went and called out names like, I want the smoke. I want everybody to try to come to me.
Are you talking about that song, or are you talking about the one he did with Big Sean? Because
no. It was ASAP Rocky. It was ASAP Rocky.
Fucking problems.
Problems. Yeah. No, because he went in on that one.
He did, but he went in harder on Big Sean.
Oh yeah,
I don't think hip hop has recovered from that moment. He named New York rappers, he named every new rapper. He said, "It's me and these guys, and that's it. None of you can be on the same stage." Hip hop still hasn't recovered from that moment years later.
And we were still supposed to get a Kendrick and J. Cole album, and we never have. Like,
still that needs to happen. Yeah, that needs to happen.
That album, I'm gonna tell you right now, that album, you think Beyonce breaks the internet. You think Kim Kardashian posing nude breaks the internet. The whole world gonna shut down and Kendrick and J. Cole do an album. Because
I'd also like to see Logic in on that.
He is
even though he retired.
You know what?
He's such a spitter. He's so hard.
And he's feisty. He's got like, no matter where he's at, he's got a strike against him. No matter which, what city he's in. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody takes him on Facebook, which I love how he pins that to his arm. He's like, that's
Logic
my story.
Logic is the perfect middleman. He's like the perfect fine line, because Logic will. I'm gonna tell you right now, and I'll say this, and they know what I'm talking about. In our own community, sometimes he ain't black enough.
Right.
And then in his community, sometimes he's not white enough. So he's going to have to hang around in the middle until that is. I went down south to Atlanta. They didn't like me. You know why? I'm light-skinned. We don't like you light-skinned people.
Just like I went to New Orleans. They didn't like me. Dark-skinned.
Yeah, like you think you better than us. Look at you. Why you talking so proper? All that stuff. There's always a divide.
Oh, no, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
I just think I think it's because that's where I grew up, and that's how everybody else talks, and that's how I learned how to talk. Like,
right?
My case was my father didn't want me talking like that. He put me at a Catholic school. If I came back talking to y'all, I'll get my ass beat.
Let me say what's up to Corey Davis. Says hello, my 49ers family.
Oh, yeah, what's up, Corey?
What's up, Corey's awesome. Man. He's all over the place.
You brought up Logic. I'm thinking of that one song that Eminem did with Royce, Caterpillar.
Yes, Caterpillar.
I thought the remix with Logic was actually better than the original. I thought he did a better job than M did on his.
M made me do a flashback when he started talking about the Anderson Silva snapping his leg thing. So that's what took me to it. But Logic definitely touched the bar that Eminem set with that verse. And I mean, he did it so ingeniously. And like, it's like he knew he couldn't totally beat him in a certain way, but he's like, I've got my own style, my own way of putting something on it, and he times it times 10, and he touched the bar with that, I'd say.
Yeah.
Bashar, what do you think about Logic? You like Logic?
Dude, you guys stumped me. I don't. You guys are getting mad at me. I don't listen to him. I don't know what I heard
I'll
the name
send
flying
you.
around. I just don't listen to him. I
But like
don't know everybody. But let me
I
say
wasn't feeling him
Kenny.
in the
I just want to say
beginning,
thank
but
you for
as he
Kenny though.
matured.
Say thank you for Kenny for jumping on. He said his phone died, and it's all good. But he said his favorite group,
Kenny.
one of his favorite group was Hieroglyphics from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And let's wrap this up, guys. I mean, I know because we could go on to like 3 hours, and I just want to say thank you everybody for coming on. I wasn't expecting a big turnout like this from you guys collaborating with us. So it was just me and Ryan last week. We were trying to bring on a DJ, his DJ friend of mine, and I have my DJ friend, but things happened, things got in the way. But that's why I appreciate you guys being on here. So keep in mind, there's No Border Sports YouTube channel that I put in the description. That's Ryan's YouTube channel, Crypto Ryan.
That's
him
where
and
we'll
Waruna,
be next week.
Him and Waruna do the 49er
it's
football sports talk there. So
we'll see.
definitely sub
I
his channel.
enjoyed your show the other day, by the way, where you had Kev
Appreciate
on
it.
there.
Oh yeah, Kev was on there. Yep.
Yep. Dude, Kev is so awesome.
Kev's hilarious,
Kev.
and he's really
And Jonathan, who we had on the show, him and I should be working together. We might even we're in the works with talking about doing a show. I'm really
nice, cool.
Really happy to work with Jonathan. He's got a lot of good things. He's from the South, so he's got a different tempo. So it'll be a different kind of show. You know what I mean? It maybe a little more laid back for like a round table. You know what I mean? So we'll see how this goes.
And Bashar, again, great show today with the legend Larry Kruger, man.
Yeah,
You
no
knocked it
doubt.
out of the park.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
appreciate it, man.
That was nice.
Honestly, that was the first time in a long time where I drew up questions before the show. I've been waiting a lot of shows lately, and I know it's a bad habit. But if you saw the fucking questions I had on my computer screen, just in case I slipped, and that was the first time in a long time where I was doing the show when the butterflies were hitting me. I was like, fuck, do not fuck this up. You're doing good so far.
Great.
Everything's smooth. Do not fuck it up. And I was like, okay, I got to be in my P's and Q's.
Well, that's understandable there.
Yeah. Hey, man, thanks for... We'll do this another time. Next week, it's going to be on Crypto Ryan's channel, the No Crypto with him. And we're going to do the sports talk, but Waruna doesn't do with hip hop. But, hey, just, any final thoughts really quick before we shut it down?
I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in the chat. Really appreciate it.
Yep.
Appreciate everybody for hanging out with us, man. Thank y'all for opening the door for me to come on and tell y'all my stories. Break Davis, man. Good God, boy.
This guy's dropping off. He said you know what I like? He said the coup. I haven't heard the coup since I was in high school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey, special shout out to Break Davis.
He wants to be on the show. I told him I'd be on Twitter. I don't know if he already knows me, but
he said JT the bigger figure.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Forte. I met
recognized game in the bang man.
Yeah, Forte.
Yes.
Forte. Hey, Forte is one of he's a real cool cat.
Oh man.
He was
Forte is one of the few rappers I actually got to meet. Cool guy.
Yeah.
If you're Pete, let me hear you say
Andre Nicotina right there.
This ain't no motherfucking Pete.
Look at Ryan, man.
Hey,
you surprising me tonight, bro.
Hey, and the sad part is Rapping Forte did not want to sue Drake at all. He did not want to. But Drake, he said straight up, if Drake had come to me like he was supposed to, I would never have done that. But I can't allow you to take my raps, making yours, make money, and you not pay me. He said if he would have come to me, I would have let him do it for free. But because he backdoored me, I didn't have a choice.
Hey, good for
him.
I
respect that.
Hey, Seahawks Eddie, I haven't seen you around a while.
Seahawks Eddie.
What's up, 49er minded? Hey, what's up, bro? And this is something we can all relate to. We all love hip hop. I know we go back and forth with the Niners and Seahawks talk. And you guys have had the better of us for a long, long time. Not Russell Wilson.
We gonna pray for you. Hey, we gonna pray for you, Seahawks.
Not Russell Wilson's off of Denver. And
the game is over, bro. It's all over.
All right. Okay, Javier, thank you for coming on. Thank you, Super Dave. Thank you, Dion. Niner Game Podcast. Subscribe to Real Talk Niner Talk. Subscribe to Niner Game Podcast with Dion. Subscribe to No Border Sports and No BS Podcast. Javier Don Suave, a really good buddy of mine from back my San Jose days. I'm going to shut this down, guys. We had an awesome show. It's gone on way longer than I thought. I've been working overtime tonight with these YouTube shows. So hey, man, until next time, just keep it real. And start. We'll see you guys back chilling on the spot, man.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
All right, man. Peace
Good
out,
night.
everybody.
Thanks for having me.